Not gonna lie, I feel like I'm repping some major Katy Orloff Diaz vibes, even though I'm more of a Julia when it comes to my style, and Margo when it comes to my internal monologue. Hey everyone, it's Teresa and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be me talking about The Magicians as books. Now, the series ended on Wednesday officially. I have not seen the final season yet. I'm having separation anxiety just thinking about watching the final season, so no spoilers, but from season 1 to 4, I got this. Let's just kind of get into it. Now, we're gonna start off with the first baby that kind of kicked off this entire series, and that is Quentin Coldwater.
But it's random. It's so random that the only way to save my friends is to yell at a fucking plant. Honestly, fuck Fillory for being so disappointing. You know what, maybe I was better off just believing that it was fiction. The idea of Fillory is what saved my life.
Quentin is a sweet boy who kind of falls in love, as all readers tend to do, with the world of Fillory, and he believes in magic. He is severely depressed, but you can see him overcome that, and it's one of my favorite things about the show is that even though Quentin finds like his found family, he finds a relationship and like several loves of his life, he is still depressed, and we see him that still struggle through that despite the fact that he, and by all accounts, should be perfectly happy with everything that he has. Now, the easy choice for Quentin is to choose like Harry Potter or Narnia or Alice in Wonderland, which is basically kind of just because it is kind of like the quintessential quintessential Quentin, the quintessential like finding your own place in the world kind of books, finding a different world within your own kind of books. But I decided to take it a step further, and I'm going with Stardust by Neil Gaiman. This is an adult high fantasy novel, and it follows Tristan as he kind of goes past the wall to find something for his like lover, or the person he wants to be his lover, and finds a completely different world than what he anticipated. He finds himself trapped in magic in this hidden world and finds out more about himself throughout this journey than he had intended. I chose this for Quentin just because I feel like Tristan and Quentin have Tristan and Quentin have similarities. Tristan doesn't fit in particularly because he is half-faced, so he has like a weird, I believe one of his ears is pointed, he has he feels different things in other people. He doesn't really fit in per se with the world around him, and he finds that he starts to fit in a lot more in the world behind the wall. And I feel like that's what Quentin always has. He didn't fit in, he stuck out like a sore thumb, and he found his home in this fake world and finds out that it's real and that he belongs in it, quite literally. We love ourselves a good Quentin moment because Quentin needs to be protected. The next character I'm going to be talking about is Margo Hanson.
No, he's a man who seems arrogant and entitled and unclear on the concept of consent. I can't imagine what could possibly go wrong. Fine. I'll talk to him, but only to negotiate us out of this epic clusterfuck. I'm staying a virgin.
She's literally my inner monologue. Everything that she says out loud are the things that I say inside my head. She is this very powerful and strong woman who doesn't take shit, and she has the people she cares about, and she cares about them deeply and will protect them to the end of her core. But at the end of the day, she doesn't care what people think about her. She knows she's a complete and total bitch. She is, by all accounts, someone you would probably not want to be your friend, and she has accepted that. Because of that, she's such a powerful and strong woman because, like I said, she doesn't care what you think about her. She can say what she wants and you can have her feelings hurt and she'll still be like, suck it up, buttercup. So the book I chose for that is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Or rather, the entire Throne of Glass series, which I have just finished, but we're not going to get into that. Throne of Glass is about Selena, who is an assassin who has been captured, and now that she is being freed from the slave camps of Endovir, she has to participate in a champion's battle to kind of gain her freedom after serving the king for a certain amount of years. I ended up choosing this because Margo reminds me a lot of Aileen. Aileen and Margo are similar in the terms that they still have their insecurities, they have their moments of like pure vulnerability, But at the same time, they really don't give two fucks as to what you care about them. They play by the beat of their own drum. They have to break the rules if needed. They will break someone's neck if needed, and they don't care. As long as it protects the people they love and gets the job done, they will do whatever it takes. And I really, 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 really love that about those two characters. And I love Margo. Love Margo. Like literally from her outfits to her hair to her overall attitude. Someone make me Margo, and I will be thankful for the rest of my days. The next character is Elliott Wah.
I don't think he quite gets that you're not even Frey's real dad.
Well then, I will say what I wish my father had said to me. I'm so happy you're dating a bear.
He is one of the more openly, actually all these characters are pretty much like, I don't think there's a single one of them that can be classified as straight. But Elliott has been from the beginning a very gay character. He likes to make jokes, crude jokes, and likes to party a lot and likes to sleep around, sometimes immorally so. But at the end of the day, he is this very complex character, and his growth throughout the series has been one of my favorites to personally watch. And for him specifically, I ended up choosing The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. This is a YA historical fiction following the travels of Percy and Monty as they traverse through Europe for Monty's like year away or something. And it's LGBT friendly, it's amazing, it's wonderful, it's funny, it's a quick read. I chose this for Elliott just because Monty and Elliott, I feel like, are similar. They like to drown their sorrows in parties. They like to deflect and find ways to hide their trauma, but underneath everything they are this very scared boy who kind of needs to be shown that they are loved deep down and they don't have to keep pushing people away. I really like that aspect, and like sometimes like low-key Felicity reminds me also a bit of Margo, but not in the same like outward kind of like frightening personality. The next character on this list is Fen.
I'm guessing you've never thought about where I would be if you never showed up. I have. Still in that same village where I was born, married to one of the 3 obnoxious boys I live next to. Now those boys want to drop you off a waterfall, and that's them being polite. What do you think they would do if they got their hands on me?
Fen is a native-born Florian. She is the daughter of a knife maker, and she finds contentment in and relaxation in making knives. She's a very sweet character, very naive, but at the end of the day she has this very strong vibe about her, and that she grows in the sense that she comes out of her skin more. She learns to protect herself and the people she cares about. She grows an exterior that people tend to take for granted, and then find out that she has this inner strength, and I really enjoy that about Fen. Literally all the characters in this series I love so much, with exception. Now the book I chose for Fen might be a little bit difficult for people to understand, just given the gravity of it, and that is Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. This is an adult contemporary romance novel following Lou, who kind of lost her job and is looking for a new job. She sticks out a little bit in the world that she lives in. She's had to make sacrifices for her family, and she finds a job helping out this quadriplegic whale trainer who doesn't really want her help, and a relationship develops from there. Now I chose this for Fen primarily because of the title. I think that it kind of wraps up Fen's personality, that sometimes she has a tendency to put people, particularly people who have stronger personalities than her, such as like Margo or Elliott, ahead before her. And on top of that, I feel like she and Lou have similarities in personality in terms of being this very quiet, understated girl who people tend to take for granted and sometimes take advantage of, but at the end of the day she has this quiet strength about her that you can really appreciate. And I think that it's a lovely way to kind of make an ode to Fen. The next character is Julia Wicker.
Q, are you doing this? Holy shit. I'm doing this.
Now Julia is someone that I love to death. I will marry her, and her style is very close to how I like to dress, really. And now Julia is a character that I didn't like at all in the first season. Every time I saw her in the first season, I was like, I don't care much about you, you can go away. But as the series progresses, we see Julia kind of grow from putting herself in situations that put her and others in danger to becoming this amazing human being who has an outward strength about her and is literally quite the most powerful girl in this entire set of cast of characters. She has this inside and external strength to her. She is outspoken and is very kind and sweet and generous and cares about everyone that's around her. It's amazing. And the friendships that she grows along the way between her and Quentin, and then eventually the rest of the cast, like Katy, it makes my heart unnaturally warm. So the book I ended up choosing for that was Speak by Laurie Halse Anderson. This is a YA contemporary novel following the events after Melinda is sexually assaulted at a party. She goes to tell the police, but no one really believes her, and she kind of is outcasted from the entire the high school community, which then causes her to stop speaking altogether. I chose this book for Julia for a number of reasons. One, we see her go down a similar path as Melinda in terms of losing herself to like this darker entity that kind of happened to her and not really knowing what to do with it and trying to find ways to kind of cope and make sense of it all. But then she finds like a friendship and a way for her to really start to heal and become this amazing human. Well, she was an amazing human to begin with, but even more so after the events of this, because things happen in the series and I can't spoil it for some of y'all who haven't seen it. And I think that Melinda goes through a similar situation where she has to kind of pull herself out of this really dark place in her life and finds that through art you see her really start to grow and like start to find out who she is going to be after such a horrific accident, which I think also Julia also does throughout the course of the series up until the very end. The next one is Alice Quinn.
Alice, no, Alice, don't stop. I don't.
Now, Alice, I love her to tears. I love her to death. But sometimes she gets on my nerves. She is a very much like what would happen if you gave Hermione steroids, I feel. Like a genuine Ravenclaw where she finds the pursuit of knowledge in everything. She doesn't really, she can't really read social cues very well, and I think that's because she is always so stuck in her books. She is very dependent on Quentin toward the end of the series, or at least toward the end of the 4th season. But at the end of the day, she's the most intelligent human being who can figure out these complex puzzles and complex magic systems, and is someone that you can go to genuinely if you need help with anything. The book that I chose for this should be no surprise, and that is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. Now, the easy choice would have been Harry Potter, considering Alice and Hermione are basically twins, just in separate situations. But Harry Potter and we have a long-standing situation going on, and I feel like Harry Potter, in terms of like Hermione's personal development, is too light for Alice. Alice is gritty and tough, and she's literally willing to sacrifice herself for the sake and pursuit of knowledge. The reason why I chose Secret History is because I think that it fits Alice a bit more. This is an adult historical fiction dark academia novel where we see these classic students who are studying under this one teacher, and throughout the entire semester we see them start to figure out that they want to learn more about Greek rituals and all that fun stuff, and start to lose themselves to the darkness, which ensues them causing a murder, and start to see them descend deeper and deeper into madness. And Alice definitely does that throughout the series, especially toward the end of one bit that I can't really talk about, where we see her literally make sacrifices and start to do actions that aren't the best for her at the end of the day, for the sake of gaining more and more and more knowledge. And I think that's really Alice and at her hardest. She doesn't mean to hurt people when she tries to find these things, but it just happens that way. The next one is another one of my favorites, literally probably my fave, like from the beginning, from the get-go, along with Margo, and that is Penny Edioti.
What in the hell? Hi. I can't begin to imagine how you fucked yourself hard enough to get here, but let's take advantage.
Penny is this really dark and mysterious kind of bad boy that we meet in the beginning, but he has these layers to himself. We see him become this really passionate kind of guy who stands up for things that he believes in and he has a very open heart, despite him being very closed off. He's very open. And Penny, both Pennies, Penny 42 and Penny I think 24, gorgeous people. Now, the book that I chose for this is actually A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J Maas. The reason I chose this is because I feel like Penny can enjoy the inner circle's company a bit. I think that in terms of being this kind of dark and mysterious figure, Penny and Rhysand are similar. There's a wall there between Penny and Rhysand where they struggle and kind of keep people at bay. But when you get to know him and get to really know Penny, he is this overtly passionate person who wears his heart on his sleeve, who stands up for women and the things that he believes in, and really is just an amazing guy. Like, how can you not love Penny Edioti? Because there's no possible way that you cannot not love Penny. Especially like his relationships, it just makes my heart hurt. And seeing him grow and progress throughout the series is just like watching my child grow up. And I love Penny Edioti. The next character is Katy Orloff Diaz.
My mom was a hedge. And she was killed by another hedge. You'd think that would turn me against you. But it didn't. It just made me realize that it doesn't have to be this way. If we could stop screwing each other over long enough to work together, then it's not the library's story. It's our story.
She is this very mysterious girl from the beginning. Very badass girl. She has a lot of layers about herself, and there's like a lot of trauma and hidden like mystique there that people seem to really be pulled toward. For that, I ended up choosing Renegades by Marissa Meyer. This is a young adult sci-fi novel following Nova, who is part of the Renegades, who at this point in time, there are superheroes and they're split into two factions, the good and the bad, and Nova is part of the bad faction, so to speak. And throughout the book, we got to see Nova start to struggle between what is actually good and what is bad, how things are being run. And I feel like Katy does a lot of that. She takes on a lot of things into her own hands. She is a very mysterious character in the sense that we don't know a lot about her, but the things that we do know about her kind of put us off a little bit, and not in the bad way. We want to learn more about her and see exactly why she is the way that she is and why this is happening and that is happening. And we see her start to grow a bit more and see her start to be compassionate toward people. And much like Penny, I feel like she wears her heart on her sleeve as well. And we see a lot of growth from her, and being just this badass woman who will help her friends at the end of the earth. And I feel like Nova is also characteristic of that, just because she does a lot of things in the sense of like helping her family, and then she meets a lot of other people that she finds herself being really wanting to be close to and be friends with. And finally, the last character is Josh Hoberman.
Well, this is Dr. Josh's prescription. I mean, if we don't have to race off to Fillory right this second.
We have a minute. What's it do?
Dude, it lets you see into other worlds. It's rad.
I feel like he was introduced just solely to be comedic effect. And then we get to meet him and get to see his likes and interests. He's just really this goofy guy who loves his magic, who loves baking, and is kind of, I feel like, underrated in terms of the group dynamic. He is very level-headed, and I feel like while he does freak out a lot, he's very level-headed in terms of being able to balance everyone out and coming up with like a rational idea as to how to do things. And for that, I ended up going with a middle grade, which I feel like, considering this very adult show, it should not be a middle grade. But I ended up going with The Isle of the Lost by Melissa de la Cruz. This is a middle grade novel following the children of the Disney villains. So we have, you guys, this is also like a TV phenomenon, so like I feel like you guys should know. But we have Maleficent's daughter, Evil Queen's daughter, Jafar's son, and Cruella de Vil's son. And the reason why I chose this is because I was rewatching the movies while I was doing this to my hair. We're still not done, by the way. And I feel like Josh is a lot like Carlos. Now hear me out. Carlos is this very sweet human being who kind of just gets thrown into things in terms of like how his mother treats him, and sometimes like the antics that they all get to on the aisle, off the aisle. And he is just, I feel like, very underrated in terms of like, sometimes I feel like he doesn't seem like he brings much to the plate because he's the youngest. He is still very young and new and naive, but at the same time he has this like kind of subtle wiseness to him that makes everyone seem to just like want to bring him along and be like a level head. And I feel like that's what happened with Josh. Everyone was kind of like, do we really want you? And then when you bring him on and see like kind of the calmness that he brings and how he processes his emotions and offers like some emotional maturity to this group sometimes, he really does bring something. And that's what I love about Josh. Like literally he's the one who's like baking when he's panicking, but he still has like a calm, level-headed plan, and somehow like everyone starts to calm down because he's sitting here like, let's think about things first. But that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I haven't done a like something as book since I think my Harry Styles one. So if you guys have any suggestions for similar videos such as this one, please leave them down below, or other videos really. Have you guys read these books, or have you guys seen the show and read these books? So if you guys agree, disagree, which book do you think fits which character a bit more, let me know. Other than that, everything's from my social media, and these books and any reviews that I have will be listed. I will see you guys in my next video. Hit like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff, and yeah, hope you guys have a good one. Bye.